Time to rock. I believe we are live. I don't know if everyone's been paying attention. I have not done this in a while. So we're going to have to see how this goes. By the way, we're at a hotel in Tel Aviv. I did a speed test. We're kind of right on the border of what's acceptable for a live stream. So we'll go ahead and try it. If things start cutting out for some reason, then... All right, guys, we just started and it already cut out. So we don't know if this will be possible. We'll go ahead and try it. But again, the internet was just on the borderline of what was acceptable. So if it's fluctuating, if it's going down and then up, then it's probably going to keep cutting out. So we'll probably just chat for a few. If it starts cutting out, if it does well, then we'll go ahead and stay on for a little while. But I'm hoping this works because Bobby and I are here with... Yeah, go ahead and try to see if you can get a...
Can you type and let them know or anything?
All right, Marie's going to try and get on a different internet setup on her laptop. Again, this is only lasting like 20 or 30 seconds. So worst case scenario, we'll just say hi to everyone, chat for a few minutes. It'll cut out a few times, but there are worse... Yeah, so guys, this just isn't working. We have Sneakers Corner said the Arabs are blocking the feed. No, we just have a lousy internet connection. Was hoping it would work. It's not. So basically, we'll probably cut off in a couple minutes when this cuts off, and then I'll see if there's a way I can. We tried, ladies and gentlemen. We tried. Someone said, Bobby Conway looks like he's totally over this. Well, I'm totally over this, too. I'm totally over this, too.
I'm here, bro. David needs a hug. David needs a hug, right?
Yeah, we tried. It just sucks.
Telespeed.
We are in one of the most advanced cities in the world, Tel Aviv, and it's cutting out every couple seconds. Tighten up, Tel Aviv, especially this hotel. All right. Now, the paper we got when we got here said that there is an actual internet upgrade, but it didn't pop up. It says it will pop up as an option. It didn't pop up. All right. So, guys, we're just going to talk for a couple minutes, just tell everyone what's going on. But we're obviously not going to do a long live stream with the internet cutting out. So, Bobby, why don't you tell us,
I couldn't even get that
in. Bobby said, welcome to the 1 second apologist, and it cut out. I hope you guys caught that.
Okay, yeah. Well, we're having a good time. We have a need for speed in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
You know, we're having a tough time here, but yes, this has been a great trip. We're with the Israel Collective. We're with a group of apologists. Several of us are over here just scouting out the land, connecting, learning about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and it's just been a good time for us. I've been giving your man David here at Act 17 a hard time, really trying to provide pastoral support for him. He missed his calling. He should have been a counselor. A lot of empathy just flowing from him, a lot of tears. So I've just been here just trying to help him through this, you know, just loving on him and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm a sweet dude.
You are a sweet dude.
Yeah, so before this cuts out, I'm actually looking. It won't let me change the rate. Someone suggested in the chat changing the rate. So next time it cuts out, I'm going to try to change it, and that might actually, because right now I think it's high resolution. Setting it to a lower resolution might actually help. Yeah, guys. People mentioning Sam Shamoon. What did he say? Sam Shamoon is asking not to go and watch Hater David Wood. Yeah, I went over to his channel and I said, for everyone who doesn't want to be bored to death, and come over, leave him and come over and watch us. But Sam must be loving this.
Yes.
Sam must be loving it that our internet's cutting out. All right, it was people saying it's working now. We know it's working. It's working in like 20 to 30 second increments. But my wife called the desk and asked if there is the upgrade that the paper they gave us says there is. And they said, no, we're already on the fastest. So there's just a problem with the internet here. It's not good enough for live streams. Again, the next time it cuts. All right, that was the last chance. I changed the resolution to lower. So, if this doesn't work, there's just no way around it. But again, if you don't know this guy, this is Bobby Conway. He's called the 1 Minute Apologist, even though his videos are almost always longer than 1 minute. It's false advertising to suck people in. They think they're going to get a 1 minute answer, and then they get a 10 or 12 minute answer. Why do you call yourself the 1 Minute Apologist if all your videos are like an hour? No, they're not. They're not an hour long. They're generally short. They're like 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. But explain that, and you've got about 20 seconds before the internet cuts out.
The reason we go with 1 Minute Apologists is we just thought of a way to just provide opportunities to give credible answers to curious questions in a quick format, and then sometimes we just get a little bit stuck. It takes a little longer than a minute, but we really do aspire to 1 minute. I think we're going to put a timer up and start going with the 60-second deal. But false advertising, Act 17 apologetics, look at some of the stuff you're doing. What do you do with that? That's false advertising, right, bro? No? You're not feeling that?
The Apostle Paul going to the capital of the intellectual world and defending the gospel. What's D-Wood doing? Going to the capital of the internet, YouTube, defending the gospel. Come on, man.
We love D-Wood. You've been out there on the Temple Mount causing trouble. What have you been doing, man? You make us nervous out here in the Holy Land, walking around with you with your camera, with your webcam attached to it.
Got some good footage, though.
Yeah, you did get some good footage.
Louise called you 3 Minute Apologist.
Louise is right. It turns out to be that way. But we're going to try to get it down to a minute, no doubt. But some of the people I have on are a little, voluble.
What?
Voluminous in words.
Don't be making up words. All right, so guys, we're out here in Israel, and American Concrete here says, does Israel allow free speech? If not, what can't one say? I don't know the specific laws, but as far as I know, no one's stopping us from saying anything. But yeah, you'd have to ask if there are any specific restrictions on free speech. If anyone in the description box, if anyone in the comments is familiar with the laws, I'm not aware of any restrictions on free speech here. So, Bobby.
Yes.
What's been coolest while you're out here?
Well, I think honestly, just hanging out with the group. It's a special group of people. We're out here with a lot of apologists with national platforms, being able to network together, thinking together about how we can leverage what we do to impact this world of apologetics. It's been great walking in the land where Jesus lived, died, and rose again. Some of the eating that we've done, they serve a lot of bread, don't they? Are you feeling a little overload on the bread?
Yeah, and I love hummus, but hummus with every meal is, there's kind of nothing I would like with like every meal. You know what I mean? But breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there's hummus there. Yeah,
and the breakfast is a little different, right?
Very different.
I don't wake up and think I want some lettuce.
Yeah, or fish and olives.
Yeah,
I'm good with fish and olives. I would love fish and olives for lunch, but
there's just something about you got to be in the mood for lettuce, and the morning time just doesn't seem to be apropos for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I love their yogurts, but the yogurts have been a little bit too watery. The gelato has been nicely congealed, so I've digged the gelato experience.
He's gotten gelato every single gelato place we've gone by.
Yes. I've had a lot of gelato.
Mm-hmm. Martin asks, "What's been your favorite meal?" You remember?
Wow. We have really eaten good, and I don't know which one has been my favorite meal. Do you know?
No, they've all been awesome.
Have you been working the falafel balls?
All right, it went out again, but it was at least it was after a couple minutes. So maybe the lower resolution is helping. Again, we're not going to go too long. It's a little too frustrating with the internet cutting out left and right. But we went to a Druze village. The Druze they were sort of a heretical offshoot of Islam. I think they divided from Islam about 1,000 years ago, and they believe in things like reincarnation. They supposedly trace their beliefs back to Jethro. That's Moses' father-in-law, and they believe that he was a prophet who believed in their religion. But I'd heard that they make the best falafel, and that was correct. That was correct. You can't beat their falafel.
They delivered, right?
I am ruined on falafel. Everywhere else I go now, it's just not up to par. Yeah. So anyway, guys, a lot of the names of stuff, I just don't know. They've been piling food in front of us and giving us 10 different things at different meals, and I just don't know all the names. But I'm a simple guy, so I like shawarma and kebabs and stuff like that. So
yeah, the shawarma is good, isn't it?
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. Isaac said, Druze are basically Muslims plus Jews plus Christians. They're even more than that with beliefs like reincarnation and all kinds of things. And they don't. Proselytizing has been banned by some Druze leader a long time ago. So you kind of only become a Druze by being born into that community. Yep, so interesting stuff. Tippy Bear says, thank you for having Bobby Conway. Would love to see you two minus the buffering. Yeah, once we get back to the US, we'll have to do a live stream. I can have you on by Skype, and then it does help that you are the 1 minute apologist and are used to saying things in a concise fashion since our time is limited. All right, so you're planning on upping your game in the very near future. Is that not correct? On YouTube? Because
you've been giving me such a hard time, David. You've definitely let me know that you kind of corner the market in the apologetics YouTube world.
What did I say earlier today? I turned to you and I go, why no one likes you?
Because I haven't been on Act 17 yet, dude.
No, he's got a big channel. He's got over 50,000. So that's on the high end of Christian apologetics channels. But you're about to finish up a big time destroyer.
Yeah,
that is your doctoral dissertation. And so let me get this straight. After getting a doctorate, you're planning on doing a ton more stuff on YouTube?
Well, I resigned over a year ago as a lead pastor. So, I mean, I have my hands in a lot of different places. Writing books, doing the 1 minute apologist, speaking, and, all this kind of stuff. PhD work in philosophy of religion, moral philosophy, and the moral argument from guilt that I've developed. And yes, it's definitely vexed me. And so I'm so stoked to be wrapping that up. And, the 1 minute apologist, one of these ministries that has grown the way it has, but with not a ton of attention. And so my teammate, our chief executive producer, Tim Hull, is been brought on, and we're planning to really put a lot of focus there. You've been great, by the way, and I thank you for your coaching. You know a ton about this stuff. So, to your audience, I just say, I look to David as somebody that I have lots to learn from and how to make the channel better, for sure, because I really want to figure this out. Doing more social media, connecting with you guys, you just get busy sometimes and forget how important it is to stay active. I think you do a real good job of staying active. I watch you walk around with your camera and doing all that. So absolutely. We've got a podcast as well. I put out a weekly blog, and I've been doing quite a bit of radio lately, where it's a call-in program for like 2 hours, and they just ask any question about the Bible, philosophy, theology, world religion. So you try to answer it, and you just say, I don't know a lot, because that's got to be a part of honest apologetics. Of course, do you say I don't know, David? You do?
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for that, dude.
That's how I roll.
That's how you roll, yes. Because David is a very sharp dude, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep. Okay. So
it's cool. It's cool that you want to focus a lot of effort on YouTube, because most Christian apologetics ministries, I don't think, have caught on yet to the age that we're in. Right.
Exactly.
Of course, you still need people going around college campuses, going around
Right.
the churches, speaking and stuff.
Yeah.
But given the recent shift in technology, there need to be a lot of Christians taking advantage of this opportunity that we have right now. And what I think would be ideal for the sort of main apologetics ministries that have been around for years and sort of have a way of doing things
Yeah.
is to still, keep their sort of speaking squad,
Yeah.
their speaking team, but then get a guy or two guys or, girls, whoever, who have the right personality to do well on YouTube and say,
Yeah.
okay, you're the internet wing of this. You're the
Absolutely.
YouTube wing of this, and so you can't miss out on reaching millions of people around the world from wherever you are. You can just there's something cool and awesome about actually traveling to a place, traveling to a church, traveling to a college campus, and sitting down with people and having that interpersonal communication. So that is really awesome. But in terms of just volume, I mean, how much information you can get out, there's just no competition for doing it on the internet.
Well, maybe even like just share with them. I know we've been doing some brainstorming about getting together with some other people with YouTube channels that are large and doing some brainstorming. You have some really great ideas about, some of those things. Would that be worth sharing here at all? About what we're thinking about doing and getting together for some time to figure this out?
No, that's secret.
Oh, it's top secret. Okay.
That's extra top secret.
Well,
he's just blurting it out.
No. Well, there's good stuff to go. I threw the ball into your court, so you're shutting that down, but no problem.
What I've told them in my videos is we're building an empire.
Okay.
I said we're building an online apologetics empire. I was dead serious about that. And so we got stuff going on behind the scenes that I mainly don't want to talk about it because I don't want other people copying what we're doing.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, because we don't want that kind of a ripping off effect.
Yeah. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about Christians. I'm not talking about Christians here. I want Christians. Our basic plan is we're going to develop some. We're going to build an empire and then try to help all other Christian ministries with what they're doing so they can up their internet game. Well, so what I mean is I don't want keyboard jihadis imitating what we're doing because we're doing some pretty high level stuff behind the scenes that. Oh, you just pointed to a comment.
Romans 10:9 was asking if I'm going to be featuring you on the Woman Apologist with any videos on Islam. We've done.
No, it wasn't on Islam.
Oh,
right?
It wasn't on Islam. Okay, I thought it was.
No, don't you remember what we talked about?
Oh, no. Somebody was asking if I was going to have some stuff with you on Islam specifically, and we will be doing that because when we get together, I'll just have Tim bring down our set, and we'll just sit down and get a bunch of videos of David doing that for sure.
Yeah, but you did record some videos with me.
Yes, and some of those are going to be coming out. That was a lot of fun. I actually talked to David. My research is on the moral argument from guilt, and I talked to David about, he doesn't feel guilt. And so one of my questions to him was, how do you recognize guilt if you don't feel guilt? And we had a lot of good time talking about that because I talk about David in my research, how as somebody who is a psychopath and talks about that element that you don't feel guilt, but you recognize guilt. You can recognize I've done wrong, and it's pretty powerful to think about. So we got some good videos where I kind of get into the mindset of David that I think I try to tap into some questions that maybe people don't feel comfortable just coming straight out and asking you, that you kind of gave me access and said, go for it. You can ask me whatever. And I really took some time to do that. You did an amazing job on these videos. I hope it'll really be a source of encouragement to your audience as well.
And it's actually, I don't know why, but I've been going around and sharing my testimony for a while, and, I get questions about, after I shared my testimony, it'd be like, what happened to Randy? What happened to your dad afterwards? It'd be things like that. But now, with increasing frequency, I finish up and there are people afterwards and they're going, hey, I think my son's a psychopath. What do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing that all the time. I think my daughter's a sociopath or something like that. So getting questions like that. So there are a lot of people concerned out there, and it's funny because the main reason I'm talking about it is because atheists and Muslims kind of made me, right? For years, I would mention that I'm a former atheist, and it was actually John Loftus, the atheist, and a couple others who kept saying, because they think that they think that people who claim they think that people who claim to be ex-atheists are just like trying to score points. So they kept saying they want to know, what kind of atheist were you? Were you a serious atheist? So it was actually that. That's why getting those challenges, tell us your real story. Tell us how devout of an atheist you were. That's kind of why I made that video, right? That was, okay, I need to go ahead and make a video, and I wanted to do it in creative fashion. I didn't mention being a psychopath in that video, but other people started saying, hey, you're a psychopath. You're a psychopath. And And then Muslims started throwing that around. He's a psychopath. Don't listen to him. He's a psychopath. Yeah. But I mean, it's true, right? I mean, I've actually been diagnosed with that. So I didn't want people like using it as a weapon, and you kind of can't if I just own it, right? Yeah. if I talk about it. But what I found in the process is it's kind of important because my background, I grew up and I had these problems. But no one explains it to you, right? You don't know what a psychopath is. You just know that you're behaving differently. And so if no one discusses that, no one spots you.
Yeah.
It's easier to spot a sociopath. We talk about this in the videos. You can sometimes spot a sociopath because they don't do well at adapting. Yeah. A psychopath actually adapts. They learn to mimic people's emotional reactions. Even though they're not feeling the emotion, they see other people reacting in a certain way, and they do the same thing. They become actors, right? So they're harder to spot. So the point is, there are people who are growing up who are psychopaths, yeah, and are never told anything about that, or never told why they're different, or never told, hey guys, this is actually a problem that lots of people have, yep, and you need to take steps to deal with it. They're not told that. They're left to kind of figure things out on their own, and there can be some bad problems with that, because I think around 50% of serial killers are psychopaths who just didn't know anything about it. They have no idea why they want to do some of the things that they do.
Well, one of the things that I appreciate about you talking about this is because, especially with all the talking about mental health and mental illness, I'm somebody, that has struggled my entire life with anxiety. I'm 46 now, but when I turned about 40, I sunk into depression, literally, where I didn't even want to be alive. It was overwhelming. Ended up on antidepressants and counseling, and just with my addiction background and alcoholism recovery in that area, I want to speak out too. And I think that guys like you and me that know what it's like to struggle with mental illness, but then also know the redemptive plan that the Lord offers us, I think that we need to be able to, the church says everything's a moral issue at times, a lot of the church. I think we're making a lot of progress with mental health. The world's like, oh, it's always a mental health issue. And I just think we need to be a voice on, sometimes there is some mental health stuff going on there. And I appreciate you talking about, because, it seems like that would be hard. Is it hard for you at all to talk about? Like, I think people might be more nervous to bring questions up with you. Okay, the word psychopath has stigma. Is it hard for you to talk about it? And if so, why? If not, why? And then why do you think it's hard for people to talk to you in that way? Do you feel like people don't know how to like broach that subject with you necessarily?
I don't know. I think people are fine talking about it. Normally you wouldn't, just because it's kind of like a distraction, right? Yeah. You got all these things you want to talk about, and then there's this side issue that you kind of don't see the point of talking about, but there are people who want to talk about it, so you kind of talk about it. So it's kind of feels like a distraction, but yeah, over time I'm just realizing, all right, people do need to talk about this.
Absolutely.
And it's kind of good that you've had struggles, because I watched a couple of your videos years ago, and I was like, who is this perfect Christian and his perfect hair and his perfect production, his perfectly produced videos? Can't work with this guy. Who can work with this guy, right?
Oh man, well,
and then hanging out with you, you're all screwed up, man.
yeah.
You guys have no idea this dude is messed up. Well, I could work with that, right? That's all the Christians I knew for years.
Yeah.
After I became a Christian, we're all messed up dudes. So,
well, I hate to even think that just a highly produced video could ever send that message, because just the whole leadership style I've always had has just been to throw my heart on a table and say to the guy, hey man, in my first year of sobriety, over 400 AA meetings, like that, I just lay my heart out there. So I would never want that to come across. I guess that's a problem with having the 1 minute apologist, right? You need more time to live stream to say, hey, when I served as a pastor, I was Pastor Panic. I offered up my contribution to world worry on a daily basis. I know what it's like to struggle with marriage issues. I know what it's like to feel like a big, massive failure as a parent. I know what it's like to struggle budgeting. I know what it's like to feel anxious and worried and fearful and depressed and desiring things I shouldn't desire. So yeah, just because I'm a Christian, I don't have it all together. In fact, I got into apologetics, David, because I was into evangelism. And while I was doing evangelism, people were asking me questions I didn't know the answer to. But then I ended up struggling with horrific doubts, and apologetics helped me in that. And so in the world of apologetics, I didn't get into it because I was some naturally born academic. I was so uneducated, I failed the ASVAB 3 times to get in the military because I was such a partier.
What a loser.
What a loser, exactly.
See?
So
I told you he was a loser.
Exactly, right? The Losers Club, right? Hey, welcome to the Losers Club with Bobby Conway and David Wood. We're here to help you. Hey, dude, Romans 10:9. I like Romans 10:9. Yeah. What an encouraging statement. Thank you for sharing that. Those are the kind of statements that I love to hear.
Let's go ahead and read it real quick.
Yeah.
I was born into a Christian family and lost my faith. However, after watching William Lane Craig on your channel, I looked into his stuff and became a Christian. Again, I found your channel through one of David's playlists. I think it was a playlist. I think it's a playlist at the end of Islamicized Me, where I put playlists on, what is the gospel and the existence of God. I think a couple of your videos were in there. So, and that was before I knew you. So that's when I thought you're a total, stuck up, super Christian.
Yeah, a super Christian.
So I must have just thought, wow, this is a really well done video. So I'm going to use it.
That is very judgmental of you, David, because I never even heard the gospel till I was 19. How old were you when you got saved?
20.
20?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got me by a year there, bro.
There you go. Hey, here we go. Kenji says, yo, David, did you meet John Lovell from Warrior Poet Society? Yeah, I met him. I've had to teach him a couple lessons over the past few days about who's the real alpha here. The other day in church, I could have sworn I seen him. Is he part of your Israel crew, Cosmic Miracle, him being in Israel as well? No, he's actually part of the group we're with. And, he's pretty cool. My discussions with him are usually making fun of him, and then he's making fun of me, and I make fun of his YouTube channel. I keep going like this every time I walk by, because he has, for those of you who don't know him, the Warrior Poet Society, he's an ex-Army Ranger, so he's Special Forces, and so he does, self-defense videos and what to do in these various scenarios. But he does gun stuff. So he does gun stuff on his channel. So every time I walk by, I go, and whenever he talks about his videos, I go, look, and anyone can go on there and get some guns and go, people are gonna watch it, man. That doesn't mean you have a good channel, but it's cool. He puts up with it. And the other thing I talk to him about is I'll put him in all these scenarios. I'll come up behind him while he's sitting down, and I'll say, "All right," and I'll reach over him like this, and I'll say, "Suppose I just put a garrote around your neck, and I say, I own you. Do exactly what I say." And he'll say, "Well, I would just have to do what you say," because I'm thinking, okay, what self-defense method does he have if someone just came and put a garrote around his throat? And all these situations I'm giving him, he's like, "Nope, I'm dead. I'd be dead." So I'm like, gosh, man. So, yeah.
Well, what would you do if somebody came up and put a garrote on you?
Well, that's the thing. I kind of didn't know. I specifically said in a car seat, you get into your car, you get up to the wheel, and someone you didn't see in the back seat puts a garrote around your throat and, says, "Hey, you better do what I say." I had a couple of, I was like, "Hey, you don't have some cool thing where you flip your feet back up over your head and mess them up?" Or I suggested, I said, "Hey, if you slammed your feet, if you kicked back hard and made your car seat go back, what about that?" He said that would be basically useless because, it's just your seat that's going to hit him. He's still going to have you around the neck. He said if you're driving, that's better because you could always just ram into a telephone pole, and if he's not buckled in, he'll go flying.
Yeah.
But he said basically in that situation, if you don't have a gun, you're probably toast. So that's how our conversations go. And, I say, what if a guy shows up with a gun? He says, well, then you're dead. And I go, well, what if I charge him? And he says, you're going to get killed. And I say, yeah, but 50 Cent got shot like 9 times. He took it. I could take like 10, right? So he doesn't think I would survive most of my actual theoretical solutions. But I'm actually planning on going live. I don't know about the internet situation. We'll see if it improves at all. This might be a bad time of day. But if the internet improves at all, by tomorrow, I was planning on going live with him and with another. So again, John Lovell's an ex-Army Ranger. Also have here, we're with an ex-Navy SEAL. So I wanted to get them commenting on the death of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Yeah, Chad Williams, Seal of God. His book has sold over 100,000 copies. It was fun. I was just with him on the roof before I came down to your room. And we were just talking to him about his training, and he was sharing about Hell Week and how miserable it was. He got 4 hours of sleep in 1 week, and he was just freezing the entire week. He had 173 people in his class, and only 13 finished. And he's been interesting for me to watch on this trip because anytime we get out of the bus, he's just doing his reconnaissance. You can just see him thinking through his scenarios. Sharp dude. I'm looking forward to. He lives in Huntington Beach, so about 20 minutes from where I live in South Orange County, and so I'm just really looking forward to connecting more with him as well. So you're gonna have him on tomorrow?
In theory, well, I'll run some speed tests on the internet if it's looking better, because when we got to the hotel, it was running stronger than it is now.
Okay.
So it might just be better during the day when people are like out and stuff, rather than at night when they're back and they're on their laptops and stuff. All right. Here's a question about methodology. I get your perspective on this because you're like super nice guy on video.
But I'm a jerk.
Yeah, when it's just hanging out, you're a total jerk, like me.
Are you saying I'm a hypocrite?
The two faces of Bobby Conway.
If you want to watch the mini faces of David, the Joker face.
Yeah.
That
actually ties in perfectly with this question. By the way, Nabil, little known fact, Nabil was the same way. If Nabil was talking to me, his level of jerkness was at least on par with mine, and often far surpassing mine, like saying things to me that I would never say to someone else, right? But as far as like when he's talking to a crowd or something, very nice. Whereas I'm just a jerk all the time.
Yes, and you know what? That's really been true. I've felt your jerkitude attitude.
I try.
Thank you. Yes.
So anyway, this is a good question about methodology. Yeah. It says, David, would you consider your way of showing Muslims that they have a false prophet is the best? I have had an argument with my father with the whole gentleness and respect part of 1 Peter 3:15, and there's an if, which leads me to believe that there is a part 2. I'll go ahead and respond to this, and be interested in getting Bobby's views here as well. A couple things here. Would I consider my way of showing Muslims that they have a false prophet the best? No. It's just something that no one's doing, right? So if you have 10 ways of doing things and people are doing them 9 ways, and there's this other way of doing things and no one's doing it, then I think someone needs to be doing that, even if it's not the best. So that's one. The other thing is, I would say it's the best with certain Muslims, right? We don't want to forget this, that there are different kinds of people, and that's why we need different kinds of approaches, right? There are different kinds of people in the world. Guys, there are how many Muslims? I mean, go through my videos and look for testimonies of ex-Muslims. Go to the Leaving Islam series. Look at how many Muslims, ex-Muslims, were thanking me for just blasting away at their prophet. There are Muslims out there. If you sit there and give a calm response to their claims that Muhammad is a prophet, are not going to listen to you. But if you start just saying Muhammad is the most obvious false prophet in history, This guy had sex with a 9-year-old girl. He took the wife of his own adopted son, and you make fun of him. Suddenly, they can't stay away. It's just a fact that there are people like that. There are just lots of Muslims out there who only listen if you are coming at their prophet very aggressively. That's when they can't stop listening. So that might be, my approach might be horrible for a Muslim who's not like that, for a Muslim who is, just wants a nice, peaceful discussion. But guess what? I wouldn't use that approach with a Muslim like that, right? It depends. It depends on the person. As far as 1 Peter 3:15, I think this passage is massively misused. If we were to interpret 1 Peter 3:15 the way people are using it, the way Christians are using it to mean, hey, you should always say everything in gentleness and respect, then guess what? Who in the New Testament, who in the Bible doesn't fail that test? Jesus fails that test. If that's your criterion, hey, you always need to say everything with gentleness and respect. What do you do with Jesus saying, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, you hypocrites, you whitewashed tombs, you brood of vipers, you serpents? What do you do with that, right? That's not gentleness and it's not respect. He's showing contempt for them, and he's heaping abuse on them. So did the Apostle Paul in certain situations. And here's what's interesting. When you see people like Jesus, or you go to the Old Testament, people like Elijah, people like Jesus, when do they use ridicule and mockery? They generally use it with religious leaders who are leading other people astray. Mm-hmm. When do I use it? With Muhammad, the ultimate religious leader who is leading people astray. Mm-hmm. So I believe I'm kind of following the Bible on this one. If you look at what 1 Peter 3:15 actually says, it doesn't say, hey, even if you're addressing a false ideology and a false prophet who's leading people astray, always say everything with gentleness and respect. It's not what it says. Mm-hmm. It says, someone comes to you and asks you for a reason for the hope that you have. And if you look at the context, it's actually people asking you this in a context of you being persecuted and things like that, right? But it's in the context of someone coming and saying, hey, I want to know why you have this hope. Now, in my videos, if someone says, hey, David, I want to know why you have this hope in Jesus Christ, do I mock them? No. Mock a false prophet. Why? Because that is the biblical pattern, right? So I think I am following the Bible here. With that said, there are all kinds of Muslims out there. There are all kinds of people out there. So different approaches. I don't think most Christians should respond the way I do. I think someone needs to respond the way I do. And so if someone needs to do it, it might as well be me because I'm built for this. All right. Any thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that, by the way? Because you're Mr. Goody Two Shoes. Oh, let me give you my nice little answer, bibbidi bobbidi, right? You see him mocking what I anyway.
No, I think that there's this. Paul says, "I become all things to all people, so that I might win some." And I think that we do have to understand who we're talking to. I think that was a great answer. It tends to be with the religious people or with self-righteous people. If you're dealing with a fundamentalist like new atheists. Depending upon a particular Muslim and their stance towards things, you might have to be strong with people. Yeah, we want to be gentle. We want to be kind. We want to be respectful. We want to be loving. We're not looking to make enemies. We want to build friendship and connections and have allies, for sure. And that's what I would always want to be my approach. But sometimes that meekness is perceived as weakness. And I think that I haven't personally had the opportunity to come across a lot of Muslims in my life. I love Muslims. I would definitely want to present a case for Christianity. But if I felt like someone was coming strong at me, even in a debate situation, there are some people in a debate situation, they walk all over you if you're too soft. So you have to kind of match strength with strength. And it's just part of, building out that respect that you're trying to get. And I think you can get away with things that other people can't, for sure. And I do think that it's harder for more of your golden retriever personality to kind of be a Doberman pinscher. For me, I definitely would prefer the gentle side, but can be strong if I have to. So I think it absolutely, as you said, just becoming all things to all people.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's what you find in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
I heard, I think it was his name John Eldridge. He asked years ago. He said, "Who was Jesus more like, Mother Teresa or William Wallace?" William Wallace from Braveheart. And he said, lots of people in America would say, "Oh, he's more like Mother Teresa, caring for the poor." He said, "No, it depends on who you are, right? It depends on who you are, which is going to determine how he was coming at you. If you were a prideful religious leader or something like that who's oppressing other people, Jesus was coming to pick a fight with you, right? Not a physical fight. He's coming to pick a fight, right? He's coming to start an argument. He's going to put you in your place. If you were a social outcast, a leper or something like that, he came to you with nothing but love. So, different situations, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a funny one. Benny says, "Brother David, what happened between you and Sam?" Benny, if you don't understand sarcasm and joking, then probably not best to follow my arguments with Sam. So I would go on to Sam's live stream, which I did a little while ago, and I said, "Hey, if you don't want to be bored out of your mind, then leave Sam's live stream and come watch ours." And then Sam started talking trash about our live stream, telling people not to watch it. We're just going to put everyone to sleep. So if you don't understand joking, then don't pay any attention to that stuff, because we're joking. That's how we come at each other. And if you're not familiar with that, you're going to have a problem understanding like half of everything I say during my daily life, because I'm usually messing with somebody. All right, well, it's 11:46. I'm glad that this is working. I'm glad this internet is working a little better now that we've gone with a lower resolution. Look where we are. I'm scrolling through the comments.
Yeah.
These are all the comments that have been posted. We're up in like the first. We're still up in the first quarter. All right, guys. Since we don't have. Oh, hey. Brian of London is in Tel Aviv. Well, that's cool. I remember getting a message. Here's the thing, guys. I've gotten like probably 30 messages from people who want to see me in Israel, but up until like today, our schedule has just been jam-packed, right? It's jam-packed. Like even when it says, "Oh, you have this time to go off and have dinner yourself" or something like that, it's usually a pretty short time because our days are just packed. Okay. And then mine was even worse because I've been uploading videos. So we get back to the hotel and people go to sleep, and I have to start downloading, putting footage on my laptop and then editing and then posting the video and stuff. So I've been getting like 4 hours sleep a night. But I've gotten a ton of messages from people who wanted to try and see us while we're in Israel. Brian of London, if he's actually in the same area with us, tell Brian to go ahead and send me a message. I remember getting one from him, probably 3 or 4 days ago or something like that. But I was getting a bunch of them. But yeah, tell him to send me another message because we're leaving tomorrow evening. So tomorrow would be the last opportunity. Here's one. David, what did the Muslim following you at the mosque want? That's actually condensed because I recorded a ton of footage and then have to, condense some parts. But it was actually two. There's one when I was walking around. There's the guy and you can hear him. He says, "Are you a Muslim?" And I said, "No." And he says, "You're not a Muslim?" And just to try and de-escalate, I turned off my camera at that point. But he got on the walkie-talkies. He's security. He got on the walkie-talkie and he started yelling a bunch of stuff into the walkie-talkie. So I turned around and walked away. Then I walked around for a little while. Then when I came back up, that's when I came back to get a picture of the sort of demon head. And as I was walking up there, I noticed a guy following me, but he's following me like probably 50 feet away. But wherever I would go, he's following me, and he's got a walkie-talkie in his hand. So right when I walked up and I took the picture of the of that demon-looking head and stuff. Then I turned, I sort of used my peripheral vision, and he took off running at me. Right, so he came running, and I hear the walkie-talkie going, and I hear him coming up, and so. I basically turned towards the Mount of Olives, and as soon as I turned away, he stopped coming at me, right? As soon as I wasn't recording the Dome of the Rock, he stopped running at me. And then as I'm walking around the Dome of the Rock, he stays like probably 6 or 7 feet behind me, and he always circles behind me. So whatever direction I'm facing, I'm pretending I don't notice him, right? But whatever direction I'm facing, he circles behind me. So the situation is I'm not scared of getting my head kicked in. I'm not scared of any of that. I don't want to lose the footage, right? I don't want someone.
I'm about for don't. He's kind of crazy in this way. I'm scared of that. You know what? Why aren't you scared of that?
I don't know. I'm just wired that way. I mean, it kind of be.
You know,
in my mind, I'm like, it'd kind of be funny, right? So, hey, I walked up on the Temple Mount. I took some video of the Dome of the Rock and got my head kicked in, right? It'd be a funny story. But at the end of the day, I don't want to lose the footage, right? I was on the Temple Mount to get video footage to show people what's up there, and just don't want someone taking the cell phone or making me erase it or saying you're not allowed to do that. I was happy that I'd gotten the footage, that I got it, so I wanted to make sure I got off the Temple Mount with that footage. All right, so guys, we only have a couple minutes left. I've only scrolled through like a quarter of the comments, so I'm going to go ahead and skip to the most recent ones. Just so we can get a couple recent ones before. Wait. Oh, people are sitting here giving loving messages.
This must be a
You stupid idiot. I think this is a joke. Hazrat Muhammad. I think this is a joke
might ask him to
account.
clarify.
All right. Just pick any comment you want to respond to because we only have a few minutes left. So yeah, guys, we're gonna cut. It's 11:51 here right now, so it's almost midnight, and we have to. What is this? Here we go. John David Wood, you and your family have a cancer. Soon you are skeleton, crossbones, coffin. Room, boom. Soon hell from room, fire. Soon you are on hell like Nabil Qureshi, huh? Boom, room. Wow. So, you see,
Boy, that's
sound like a
love there.
Sound like a poet, man.
Yeah.
You could have been the world's greatest poet with your awesome use of words. What are all these? I can't tell if this is a joke. Hope you die in Israel, inshallah. I'm thinking that's a joke account, right?
Yeah.
With the Muhammad. All right, here we go. This is I haven't even read this entire comment, but it's asking about an approach. So, Bobby, could you recommend an approach for an atheist who has indicated that he has rejected all Abrahamic religions and that he does not need an angry and jealous God?
Wow. Ezri, that's a big question. Can you recommend an approach for an atheist who's indicated that he's rejected all Abrahamic religions? One of the things that that I think can be helpful when talking to an atheist, even before getting to Christianity, is talking through arguments for the existence of God and why philosophically we might believe in the cosmological or the teleological argument. I think the moral argument can be good, and we can detect something about the nature of God. So, for example, even in my moral argument from guilt, I talk about how our guilt can indicate something about the nature of God. For example, that God would be good, personal, all-knowing, a moral lawgiver, and fit to judge. And by that, what I mean is when we feel guilt, we feel like we've offended someone, not like we've offended some abstract, ethereal, free-floating object like in Platonic thought. So what I feel like is when we sense guilt, it seems as if we've offended someone, like someone's been watching us. So God is personal. When we feel guilty and sense guilt, it's God pinging us, letting us know something about His nature, that we've acted contrary to it. God is a good God. And so if we feel guilty for lying, it's because God cares about truth. When we sense guilt, it's because we've broken a moral law. Hence, God is a moral law giver. God is fit to judge. If God is the one who's given the law, if He has given us guilt as a resource for understanding it, then these are types of things that we can get into discussions with atheists where we say, hey, look, you experience guilt, I experience guilt. What offers the best explanation for it? How do you ground this moral law? Otherwise, we just have subjectivism, moral relativism. So I think it's good to be able to get in discussions with an atheist. And if we can ground morality in the good nature of God, then we get the theism. And then at theism, then we can talk about the different options of the theistic options for dealing with our guilt, what best resolves it. And that's where I think Christianity begins to walk. In the atonement, Jesus absolves our guilt and offers us a remedy through trust and faith in Him. And so I think that it's not always a clean sweep from atheism directly to these Abrahamic traditional beliefs, in particular Christianity. Sometimes we need to do a little bit of philosophical work, and then all along praying for the Holy Spirit to soften their hearts so that they might have their eyes enlightened.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I would probably want to do some groundwork trying to understand where this person's at, because lots of, not just atheists, but it could be Christians, it could be Muslims, it could be anyone. They sort of absorb a claim or absorb a popular saying without really thinking about it, without understanding the reasons. So they'll just say, I reject Abrahamic religions. I reject Abrahamic religions. And they'll just say that. And so you might want to do some groundwork. What do you mean by that? And why do you reject them? Yeah. And what if one were true? What if an Abrahamic religion were true? Would you want to believe in it if it's true? Or are you just saying you wouldn't believe in it because, they're not true, but if one were true, then you would want to know. And I would, if someone grants, and here's what I want to say. If someone says, look, if an Abrahamic religion were true, I would still not want to believe in it. I don't know what you can do after that point, except pray for the person, right? Because that person would be saying, even if it's true, I don't want to know. That's the one situation I've never figured out what to do with. And maybe it's because there's nothing to do there, if a person is acknowledging that he doesn't care about the truth. So, yeah, but hopefully the person doesn't say that. Hopefully a person says, no, if one were true, I would want to know it. And then you could say, all right, well, let me tell you why I think this is true. And I would focus on building a good case for the resurrection. In addition to, classic apologetics arguments, Kalam cosmological argument, design argument, both the design in the universe and design, in biology, moral argument, things like that. Because the idea is, there's a kind of cumulative case there, right? It's pretty much everything. It's pretty much everything wherever you go. There's information everywhere, right? There's information in the fundamental laws of the universe. There's information in every one of your cells. There's information everywhere. The moral law is information. That's not what you would expect from a mindless universe, right? You wouldn't expect information to be everywhere, to be at the bottom of everything. If God exists, that's exactly what you'd expect. And so, so those would be a couple ideas. All right. We're at 11:58. All right, guys, we have to cut off because again it's midnight here. Assuming the internet is doing at least as well as it is now, tomorrow I will try to go live with a couple of special forces guys to talk about the death of al-Baghdadi before we fly back to the United States. All right, Bobby, you've got about a minute. What a coinky-dink. Final thoughts for everyone here.
Well, good to be on the program with you. If you're not familiar with our channel, check it out at YouTube, the 1 Minute Apologist. We've got over 1,000 videos. You can also go to 1minuteapologist.com and check out our stuff. And just thank you for listening to us. Hope to be able to meet with some of you guys in the future. And we're going to go to bed. It's late here and crash out. So peace out.
Actually, one of us is going to bed. I have a video to edit.
Oh, man, yeah.
Again, so I'm going to go edit this video. I'll have that up in a little while. And for those of you who aren't subscribed to Bobby's channel, the link is in the description box. So you want to subscribe to that. He'll have some videos with me up here pretty soon. So you'll want to see those. But also scroll through his videos. He just mentioned he has over 1,000 videos. Basically, there are subjects in there that are relevant to everyone. So there will also be topics in there you're not interested in. So scroll through those. and find the stuff you're interested in, and he'll give you some concise responses. All right. Hopefully see everyone tomorrow. If not, I plan on starting up live streams again once I'm back in the U.S. So see you soon.